And what do we get? Hard drive. Are you...
Hard drive enough.
How dare it offer me inventory slots? I mean, that's just... No. I felt genuinely kind of offended by it offering me inventory slots instead of screws. Like, what even? Hello Internet and welcome back to Satisfactory hard mode. I'm just very quickly popping the rules up here for you and then we'll get back into it. My version of hard mode is all multipliers, so times 5 power, 2 times recipe costs, and times 100 elevator parts. And also random nodes and random purity. And then some added rules: no rebuilding entire factories, automating the parts we get from milestones before unlocking the next one, and no use of parts we can't make yet. Alright, here we are again. Much grinding later. I've managed to get myself everything that I'm going to need for this little iron plate factory. And the fact that all of this for one constructor making iron plates is quite a thing. As you can see, as you can't see because it's going through the rock, there's a power line here. Connecting those starter biomass burners to the building side. We're going to need one more to run this malarkey. And here's our iron, soon to be actually producing things. Let's start with things. I looked up the rules for the challenge I'd set myself originally. Yeah, the original idea. And part of the plan is we're allowed to rebuild until a building is complete. So I don't need to panic too much. Oh, that's a lovely shade of purple. We don't need to worry too much about getting things slightly wrong. At the moment we don't have any buildings anyway, although I'm determined to leave that there. Just for it being the very first thing that we've built. And the other rule, which won't be quite as practical at the moment, was that I wanted to, once you unlock a milestone, automate what it gives you before you do anything else. And I've realized also that in terms of alternative recipes, our biggest trend is going to be things that save on buildings. Now, which way around do I want this bloody miner? See, there's a nice slope here, which I'd like to align this to a little bit. Yeah, I think we'll stick with this. And I did want to put it on the foundation. Okay, if you remember that the corner of the miner is here. So that would go about there. And now we hope that this works out as intended. Well, I can put it down anyway. Then I can jiggle it a bit. Actually, let's put both down. Then lock that. And then we can nicely align our miner. This might be the one and only miner that's gonna end up aligned, but it's a start for everything, basically. See, they fit perfectly on two foundations. Why couldn't they give us, you know, a center alignment somewhere for these. Anyway, here we are. The start of everything. And utter silence. Because it's not doing anything yet. Kind of blocking myself in here. Now here's the other question. What's my plan for height? Once you zoop one thing, everything wants to be zooped. I mean, the standard 3 is kind of what I usually do. The fact that everything's sloped makes it slightly odd. Can I give it a ramp, maybe? I was going to jump, but you can't jump when you're building. See if I make that go on that side. I might be able to come up with a pleasant way up here somewhere. That works out. Tiny little start to the grid, and we have we have our conveyor lift, which we need to... This will probably not align with any kind of thing. Let's try these words again. That won't align with conveyor holes, probably. Need to decide how much space to give this. The good news is these are going to be built over, which means I'm quite happy to remove them. Bit more fuel for us. Alright, I have towers. I can, in actual fact, have a good view for building. Now, this is a normal node. We're probably only gonna get... We're probably only gonna get one smelter's worth out of this anyway, but it'll have upgrades eventually. Do I give it space for a walkway or not? I think if I want a walkway, I can... what do I? Thinking time is wasted time currently, so I shouldn't do too much agonizing over these choices, but I am. This is the problem with the no rebuilding. I'm kind of going... This will be the final state of whatever it is that this ends up being. I can expand it, I can upgrade the miner and then add things onto it, but I'm not taking these down again. What we're probably gonna have is just a row of... Oh. How much space do I have there? Plenty. I think what I'll do... Wait, do we start with half foundations? No, we don't. What I'll do is, if I have to manifold anything, it's going to be on half foundations on the side here. And then we can have little rows of smelter and constructors. Oh. We're gonna break our ankles again because we love doing that. Did you have a ladder? Yes, you did. I think the entrance for windows is around here. Yeah, conveyors go like this the middle. And then you have these two. I don't even know if I'm gonna need conveyor vaults, but considering what I just said about half foundations, it doesn't really matter where I put this, does it? It doesn't really matter. I'm allowed to adjust things for adding onto them. Let's just get it done. Is this the right height? Should be. Oh god, my jumping is not up to scratch apparently. Well, either we need our trusty chainsaw for a moment. Did it get that one? Yes, it did. And you. Do we keep them centered on the foundations, or do we just put them as close as possible? They're gonna be this way around because I'm lining them up with the... Let me just get my... I shouldn't have deconstructed this. It's useful. I need it. Even if I fall off. Okay. Let's just have it like that. Technically, we're gonna need another one. At some point. That's something we're gonna afford ourselves later. Okay, it'll make 9 plates, which means 60 per minute. It's not even gonna... I need... it's 2 smelters per constructor. That's... Wow. Let me just check... 60, okay. or one underclocked constructor? Which do we prefer? Yeah, I think we'll go back to how we had it before and go for potentially underclocked. Once we can. I need to grab that slug. You know what? Let's just center this. This goes here. And then this goes here. It'll still happily work for manifolds. Or do we just move it back a bit? No, I don't think I'd change it enough to matter. I've just realized I forgot to put something on my hotbar. Which means that these are in the wrong locations. Just the building basics. I don't think we can put both there, but we could like put either or. Either splitter or a merger. And herein lies the problem of the don't rebuild things. This needs to work. If I want to have the option of actually having 2 smelters, I should build them as close as possible. Which means not hanging over the edge, but at least like this. Okay. Plate. Iron. Do you know what? We do need that one extra biomass burner. And I think this will be a decent enough place for it. I don't tend to actually make use of the feed they have these days for the storage. So I don't think I'm gonna be worrying about fitting that in. Which means that we try and put the power pole here somewhere in a sensible place. There's no daisy chaining which you can research, but it doesn't come natively, so this is what we're at. Oh, and now we have to carefully split our biofuel. That's not what I intended, but sure, whatever. Clicked one too many times. And I should now slowly turn on and start doing things. Oh, I still need more copper. That's smelting. At any minute, the constructor will turn on. Yeah, that has run out of fuel again already. I'm hoping to get the research done so I can get the MAM started and probably use quite a lot of pig as biofuel. Because that's way easier than, hunting down leaves all the time. But even then, they only respawn so often. Also, I want to really do the hard drive research because that'll give us a chance to recipe, and considering everything, I think I'll be quite grateful if I can get the screw recipe. Not that anyone dislikes that, but some people rightly point out that you're technically just getting rid of screws later anyway. However, screws will save us an entire constructor per thing, which is worth. Very much worth. At least for my sanity of trying to chunk biomass all the time. So yes, we're gonna go for that. There's also the option getting a more space-efficient recipes for reinforced iron plates. That too may be worth, because it's assemblers at that stage, and assemblers are quite, well, considering it's the start of the game, they're quite power hungry. They're a little painful anyway, but they're gonna be even more painful like this. Ah, I have set myself up for such a painful journey. I mean, in all technicalities, I should put some walls around that mess and call it done. Actually more effective to climb up here and then jump off, isn't it? Or we can just have a look at everything from up here. It's making things. Yeah, I could just happily wall this off. Can we deal with the clipping until it is something? I hope we can. Zoop this way, please? Yes, thank you. That's probably gonna be a triangle wall. And so it goes around the biomass burner. It can't find the edge. There we go. Oh. Bit of overhang. Okay, we need a different option for that then. 52 plates already, that's actually not too bad. Yeah, we can replace walls and stuff to make things pretty. But unless we need to put another smelter here and merge it, this is it. And for the sake of being able to get in here, we're going to give it a ramp. Not sure if I'm gonna call that permanent yet. Oh god, that's already almost out. I've gotten myself the other one of these back, and I'm gonna have it here. So I can work on the field research. Everything's gonna go blowing up and blowing a fuse in a minute. Not blowing up. We don't blow things up yet. Don't have that ability. Okay, we need... It's gonna make us the plates. I don't have to worry about that. I do need to make the screws. I do need to make the wire. I think wire will be the next thing to potentially automate. I know we need quite a bit of stuff for the space elevator, but I daren't even think about that yet. And it all needs to run on biofuel. I'm wondering if it's worth having a single constructor to turn biomass into biofuel. It's painful whichever way I do it is. Okay. I am going to get that slug. If I don't fuck up the jump again, there we go.
This semi-slug species seems to persist entirely through absorbing and storing energy from its surroundings. Studying this could provide new methods for improving fixit production line efficiency. Store this potential resource for later use.
Actually looks quite pleasant, doesn't it? Our little setup. Our doggo has been quite good to us. We did get a purple power slug. One additional rule I had for this thing was that I'm not allowed to use found materials to speed up MAM research. So if I can't make it yet, or I can't gather it yet, like purple slugs are always in dangerous areas, I'm not allowed to use it yet to research stuff, so yeah. Some things will have to wait until we can make things. I need to find a strategy for biofuel. Again, hunting is an option. Things respawn. Gathering wood and leaves. Yes, it'll do for a while, but I don't want to clear cut the planet. And it's gonna be a lot of running around anyway, so it's really neither here nor there. Okay, let me go grab some plates. And give these burners a refill. I need to sort foundations out for this bit as well. Oh, I forgot to pull the... Yeah. Keep going. That's done. That's done. That's the other one that went. No, we're heading back that way anyway, yes? I'm gonna... I mean, I had myself already, so what else is new? My god, we don't even have any left. Okay, so this open landscape is probably going to be built over anyway, so I'm not going to miss the trees. Shrubs. Whatever. Woodland. Is there some ground wood? Because I don't really want to use the chainsaw too much. Hannah's done a beautiful job of giving us this world, and I want to preserve some of it, no matter what fix it says. No, there's another doggo. I'm not doggo hunting at the moment, though. I'm after some wood. You know, when I first started playing, that was, by the way, just before Update 3 dropped. I can say that I've played Update 2, but I've never played enough of it to have suffered the pain of pipes being introduced. I did not get to cold power before the update dropped. Oh, that's a big guy. I don't quite have firepower for that. I know they're on passive, but I still need to, whittle down the health. But yeah, when I first started, I actually did listen to the game and start in the grasslands. And of course, I started in the place where a lot of people start, both those 3 nodes. And I went up the hill towards this forest, exploring it because it looked, slightly different biome. It seems interesting, let's go. And it does spawn spiders at night time, so I had, I was up there and had a whole lot of skitter to deal with. Only small spiders, but first time playing the game, I just gotten used to dealing with the pigs. Hogs. And then there's little skittery spiders all over the place. Luckily they die quickly, but the game can give you some interesting experiences when you're new. And yeah, I didn't encounter any spiders just now because they are a nighttime spawn. That's a thing that happens. You can think you have cleaned out an area, and you come back at night and suddenly there's a spider of varying sizes. Enjoy. Thanks. And that should be it. Field research, and it gives us the map, which I'll be very happy about.
Milestone reached. Supply the molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, with local resources to research and develop new technologies. Potential technologies include exploration tools, weapons, and factory buildings. These are essential for maximizing your Pioneer efficiency and alignment with Fixit's core pillars: construct, automate, explore, and exploit. To advance Fixit's mission, all notable phenomena, resources, technology, or other influence should be investigated regardless of any perceived danger, as stated in the Pioneer contract.
Right, what do we need? A bit of cable, we can do that. Luckily, I'll keep making wire. It's gonna be a little bit floaty, isn't it? Alright, before I research things, I want to refuel that thing. can also do another ore run. And then we can do some research. I need to make sure I research everything I've found so far before I stick the hard drive in. And of course, now the cat is yelling at me. Hello, Bean. They look so unstable. Okay, gonna need those. Might as well grab all of those, and we'll need the hard drive eventually. The rest is out of our jurisdiction for the moment. Hey, research. First, the slug. Lucky research is quick these days.
This semi-slug, now dubbed power slug, is early in its life cycle and has retained only part of its potential energy storage capacity, giving it its blue color. Power slugs are capable of extracting latent energy from their surroundings, including through a form of photosynthesis, and preserve it in their porous semi-crystalline shell over their lifetime. This explains why they rarely move after having found a suitable location.
Okay, once we've got the materials for adjusting the clock speed, we can do that, and then it'll save us some power in places.
This fruit, dubbed the paleberry due to its tendency to stay light in color even when ripe, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available. This fruit, dubbed the barrel nut after its distinctive color, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available. The remains researched belong to an organism now dubbed the fluffy-tailed hog. It has many characteristics that would likely classify it among the Suidae family were it native to Earth. Hog remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving pioneer safety during exploration.
Now, it's probably worth checking, because we need at least to get this far before we get the biomass. Can I make myself enough alien protein without falling off? I need walkways so I can do the hub. I could do it with rams, but I want walkways so I get a hydrite. Where is it? We just need 5. Well, 5. Everything else needs to be turned into biomass.
Research completed. Alien protein can now be turned into biomass or alien DNA capsules. In addition to being used for research, the invaluable alien lifeform data in these capsules can be traded for fix-it coupons at the Awesome Sink. We guarantee the best capsule to coupon exchange rate anywhere on this planet.
Yeah, not like there are other options, yes? Ada? Okay, and now that we've researched all of those, we stick in our hard drive and pray for good RNG. Let me find an app. Thanks, game. Even burning aliens isn't getting us very far at the moment. A lot of that is going to be happening. I'll do my best to turn it down in editing, but yeah. 5 times the power cost. Okay, let's get us an advantageous viewpoint. which this isn't, because you can't see the copper and you can't see the iron. That'll teach me to try and, you know, set up things nicely. Still not very good. Viewpoint? Okay, I give up. Okay, we have this, which is somewhat working, and it's making us iron plates. Happy. The next step, well, this is making concrete. Also happy, assuming I can fuel it. The next step, I was gonna say barring finding any iron, but I could just, I have a map now. That's it. That's the one that was next to the other oil node. I was sure there was iron down here as well. I know there's some over there, but oh boy, we will have problems. Stitched plate would be very good too, because then I can use this and this to make reinforced plate. Oh boy, yeah. Things I did to myself. We might go for that hard drive up here and see what that node is. I don't know what the coal is. I've been exploring down here and there's coal there, so I can probably use that, which isn't much worse than what gives you anyway. But we can find that out once we get there. Okay, so there's preciously little iron around. There's another impure node up there, which is awful. The next step will be utilizing the copper. This will be much easier if I have a recipe that actually uses it for something useful, but even just making wire would be good. I'm gonna need to go hunting. I'm gonna need to grind out some materials that we are not automating yet. I know there's a mushroom cave there. I'm going to, at some point, go explore that. But overall, I have the most marginal factory possible going. One more thing I might do is start pulling down the grid and make a road here and try and work out how that'll look, yeah, in terms of space available. We're obviously gonna have those miners there. It'll probably be good to know how that looks. But yeah, expect me to grind out some foundations and start working out where they go. I might build the copper up. It's gonna be the same thing as here. It's gonna be a smelter into a constructor. That's it. That's all we can do right now. There will be a hard drive popping any minute. I'll get a power slug so I can underclock things. There you go. I'm definitely going to come back before I do this next milestone, and then we can work on that. I shall see you once I've worked on some stability. And what do we get? Hard drive. Are you...
Hard drive analysis completed. Alternative recipe selection available in the MAM.
Not even screws? Like, iron wire is genuinely awful for me. I have all the copper in the world. I know it could be useful later, but I can make screws. This is not something I need to unlock yet. What am I unlocking with the next milestone? Yeah. No, we're re-rolling that. Fuck you. Sorry for the swearing, but no. How dare it offer me inventory slots? I mean, that's just... no. That's most definitely worth in terms of saving an entire constructor per thing. Select. Cast screws. Everyone's favorite, and my favorite even more so because it'll save me masses of power. I felt genuinely kind of offended by it offering me inventory slots instead of screws. Like, what even? Anyway, it's time for me to hunt slugs, wildlife, and whatever biomass I can get my hands on. A beautiful, unspoiled landscape. A manta ray flying through the archway. A bean doing whatever the hell it is beans do, because they certainly don't care about gravity. And then there is us. About to do things. So, let me talk you through the thought process here. Over here, home base, we have one iron node, an impure somewhere here, and a pure here. These two are copper. Is not really useful for our space elevator parts. And that's what we need to think about. Or start thinking about. As you can see, I got the milestone for rotors and stuff. I am starting to follow the rule of research each milestones, which means that yes, we are researching jump pads. Who knows, maybe I'll even use them. I have been hopping around the countryside and murdering things. The fuel is a problem. Considering the distance, I'm probably gonna set this up with its own supply. The area over here is near our hub is going to become rotors. And then we're gonna combine things over here. So here's going to be reinforced iron plating and everything that goes in them. And without violating the no rebuild rule, I'm gonna switch the one constructor we have over there for the iron to iron rods. So we can actually, you know, well, no, not rods. We're gonna need screws. So we can actually, you know, make the rotors over there. But, first I'm gonna set this up. Got a little crafting bench down there. I'm trying not to use this one because I think that's gonna be useful later. Those two are pure nodes, so they should get us places. And, yeah. I'm not sure what the rest of it is going to be. If I'm turning this into reinforced plates, we're gonna have leftover quartz, which I suppose goes in the recipe for oscillators. There's probably gonna be a small amount of alumina here because, although I don't know about the water, there's the lake over there. I don't know. It's all gonna be a bit weird with the random nodes, but for now, it's one of the better places we have for iron. And I don't want to turn that coal into steel. For reasons. There is another spot that lends its... well, two spots that lend themselves for... three spots that lend themselves for steel, which is all the stuff down here. There's coal down here with iron. There's coal and iron here. And there's coal and iron in the crater here. Other than that, that's really it for iron spots. So, this will have to be it. Now, reinforced plates. I know I could have just searched that up and pulled it up, but here we are. This is, of course, the thing where suddenly everything is too much for the builds you have. We're gonna have very similar ratios for making the plates and making the screws. You need 3 each, or, 2.4 for the screws technically, but either way you're putting down 3 machines to go into the plates. And if I remember correctly, yeah, those need 25. Those need 60. So this is 2 smelters, the other one is 1 smelter each. One way or another, we're building a fair bit of machinery. Okay, let's just pop down a mining machine. I would like to know the numbers. I'm just gonna be pointing straight out. And that'll produce 120. Which in this awful thing is enough for 2 smelters. Oh boy. We're gonna have to build this up very slowly and make sure we leave enough space for everything. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, that means we can build things here if we need to, and I want a very quick miner. Now we are planting one then. This doesn't even count anymore. There we go. Pop. Now we can do materials on the job. Now comes the thinking part, and where I usually lock up on stream. I need to figure out how to lay this all out in a way that actually fits everything we're gonna need. There's more iron over there if we need it. If we ever manage to scale things up. There will be very heavy use of underclocking and stuff to make this work. We only need a little bit. I'm not even going to give it the dignity of a storage. That's never going to happen. Best we can hope for is filling up the machines. Now we have this height change here, as you can see. If this goes here, and we're gonna have maybe, well, mostly this one as an actual decent walkway. And the other stuff will go into machinery, I suppose. Again, I don't know what I'm doing with that yet. We will, in fact, have... Why did I just get paranoid about the recording not being there? We will, in fact, have 2 here. Okay, my thought process is... This is a sort of logistics gap. This reserved for those, and then... Yeah, well, I think I'm actually going to move this miner. And start building here. Because then I'm basically already building on the edge of what's there, and I want to do in the future is have this miner go upstairs or something along those lines. Or maybe have the different floors do different things. Oh god, that has me already running out of... Yeah, I need to be a bit careful here. I'm just chucking all this down like it's like it's growing on trees, but no, it's not. I mean, it is kind of, because we're fueling things with trees, but it's not that plentiful. I've also lost track of the doggo. It followed me a bit too far, now I don't know where it stopped. Keeping an eye on it, out for it on occasion. So what we then have is we're gonna have a belt coming out of here. Okay. Quick cut for thinking. Or maybe not. I can find something to talk about. I wanted to be a bit creative with these factories, but the problem is that I don't have the resources to be creative with yet. And I'm trying to figure out what particular shenanigans would work with my idea with the resources I currently have. Which is technically always a thing, but if everything costs you 5 times the power and 2 times the resources for each stage of the material, you think differently. I could just have it all go straight ahead. I think I'm going to go for cluttered and see where I get with that. No, 120, that's 2 smelters. These don't line up perfectly, but it'll be bearable, I hope. Or barely noticeable, either way works. In the future we'll have to upgrade this because the miner will upgrade and obviously things will multiply. And God knows where we're gonna put that stuff. Actually what might happen is that we reroute one of these miners to something else. But we are gonna need to keep making smart plates, so who knows. I'm gonna make sure I give this enough room for another splitter if need be. Maybe I can have them like that. At the very least, it's symmetrical. And we love a little bit of symmetry. Only one way that works. I'm really doing it like this. Poverty strats. Technically I want this higher. Maybe? Or I... undo. Let's just build out one of these and then see how it goes. I keep forgetting that they're not in the same sub-menu. If they're in the same sub-menu, you can scroll through them like I do with the foundations with E. These are not. Well, the smelters are not. And we said we're gonna use this for screws. Now the idea here is a bit on the cluttered and tight side. And then we come out of here. We are gonna be putting 3 together into one assembler. Means we probably need a row here for merges. And then we'll fiddle with whatever's coming out that side, and I'm gonna need to make some plates. Sorry. Bear with me. Okay. Resource crisis temporarily averted. If I'm following my plan, I need to work out the second story in some manner. Even if it's floaty foundations for the moment. Okay. Close and cluttered, I said. So let's go with that. Now these guys need 2 smelters by themselves. How do I set this up with the minimum amount possible at the moment? If I have this going sideways and have like smelter, constructor, this one would eventually be coming from here. If you give it space for making it stack. Okay, let me work with this. Let's just take you down for the moment. So we'd be merging those up. How bad would that clip? Ooh, our fuel respawned. And we'd need to split us here. Ideally, we'd like them in the middle, so this is way too far, technically. This would clip severely. I think even with considerable squishiness, that's not gonna work how I'd like it to. I mean, this would give us half a walkway of space, which is quite generous, really. And I don't want space. Okay, things aren't centered anyway. Let's assume we're putting it on the bit that aligns with that. Where if you're having a conveyor wall where it comes out. That would give us this. Which is awfully tight, but I think we can deal with that, potentially. Technically, we need it here rather than there. Let me up. Thank you. Nicely said. And yeah, this would... This breaks it, doesn't it? Sorry, we're only sparing the material for one of them at the moment. How tight can you pack these? That's what we're currently messing around with, I guess. I mean, that would... A little bit of clipping. Only the foundations were flat. Oh, the frames, I suppose. I don't know what to call those bits. This would be a plate. If only it didn't do that. Now this needs space to go somewhere, but it might not need that much space. So what if we move it up a bit? Then we might be able to put it in a way that no longer clips. In fact, the curve looks quite nice there. Now we need many more of these than we need screws, but this would be in effect a sort of module for making it. Don't need you at the moment if you're doing it like this. I'm just thinking that the way the numbers work out, it would be better if I did it opposite the way I've just done it. Which is absolutely marvelous because I have to rebuild everything. Let me murder you. Who knows, maybe it'll take so long you'll be respawned yet again. Not put power anywhere yet. Alright, so we have one plate, one screw, which can then have another screw, another plate, and then another plate, another screw. Depends on how much we can bear to double it up eventually. And then we can put another layer on top if we need to. I have that one like that. Nice and tight. That's what he said. Alright, and this stuff can then go into one singular console. Oh, need some cables. I'm also going to reclaim some of this. I know this is going to be kept free on purpose. Gonna need some space over here. What did I say? New cables. I'm also gonna need cables for, you know, power, but that's a problem for future me. Not very far future me. This will come out over there. Up to 3 of each, and they're gonna end up being on essentially different heights. Let's line this up with that one. Is this enough for the splitters if you want them? See, I'm now having the idea of having it a bit like that. Yeah, I kept saying splitters, we actually need mergers. We could pull that one up. I know we need to merge the screws too. Wait, no, this needs to be screws. I need to set that before anything gets confused here. The whole middle click that it copies recipes is nice, but sometimes it's also not what you're after. And both are true, which complicates the whole thing. We would want it here. Because then we can merge these two screw constructors and whichever one is coming over from the other end. And then we're having these merges. We're putting all of that on top. In some manner. No, that's not how I want it. I want it, I might have to change this once I have the ability to deal with more of these walls. Oh, wait a second. I can almost... What do we think about clippy splitters? If that's a single conveyor belt hole, that's about how the splitter would latch on anyway. Which I think we can call tolerable intended, clipping. And then we can pull the assembler much, much closer. This will probably behave much nicer in the way that I want it to go over here. And we're missing some iron plates. Tink tink. Okay. That'll be... This'll be the iron plate. 20 per minute. Come on, is that really too far away? So that's about... I'm not gonna fine-tune it that much. But this means 40 screws per minute. Which means we can downclog this. And this time we can let it do the math. Which means this needs to only come up with 20 per minute. And this should be 100, yes? See if it downclock everything a little bit. Yeah, this is 40. That's 60. This will make us a pitiable amount of reinforced iron plates. But it will make them. No one needs to see what's going on behind there. We will work on boxing this up when I have walkways. But this is done. What I need to do next is figure out how to wire this all up. Now, I don't know if people consider this legal or not. I like putting those there, even if it means they clip a tiny bit, but I could also, you know, put it next to the wire. I pressed 2, I swear. Yeah, that's a good point. Now that we have done all this, where does the biomass burner or burners go? That's going right. No, we can deal. But if we can fit it right there. Nah. That's those. Then presumably wool. And that. And then we should have maximum consumption 85. Is that the adjusted consumption? I don't think that's the adjusted consumption yet. So now, well, we're gonna need several biomass burners. That's an inviting space over there. It's not what I had, quite what I had in mind, but we can work with that. Oh, missing plates again. I took that apart. Crafting bench. I mean, 3 bioburners would technically do it. 2 might if the power works out downclocked enough. I mean, this is claiming 75 on its own. That sounds wrong. It sounds like it might be adjusted already. Oh, this is saying 200 now. Yeah, I need to work out what the adjusted stuff is. So, it's gonna be a lot of blown fuses while I work this out. I'm gonna make them in a nice circle. I was gonna say. We're still imagining this is a wall outlet, yes? Okay, and now the question is, how far does it get before something goes bang? I apparently need to give this a bit more space. Like that'll do. And now we realize all the bits that we haven't connected yet. Okay, it got as far as the smelters. And once again, plates. Seeing as we're doing these shenanigans over here, let's put the thing over here. Not gonna need you anymore, I think. I hope. Kinda know that the style works now. Oh, so tight. Look at the pitiable amount of biofuel that I'm putting in here. It's not gonna last very long. At all. You just kinda need to know it works. And how much power we need. Let's construct this blowing it again. It's starting to learn the adjustments. That doesn't help a lot. Okay, we need to go back there anyway because we need to steal some ingots. Ironically enough, we're stealing them from the plate machine. Not that that's enough in any way, shape, or form. Okay, Letting try to fill and then stealing the ingots it made. Oh, and that should be just enough. Oh wait, did I math wrong? Yeah, I mathed wrong. Cause it's 6 each. Ah, we're gonna do this a few times. Any minute. I don't for a minute believe that I can outrun this. And tell me this is actually okay now. The assembler's gonna kill it. The assembler's gonna kill it. And I've already shoved all my biomass in there. I killed that guy. Okay, so we're probably gonna need a couple more of these. But we can agree that this should work. Yes? What I'm trying to say is, I think it's time to grind. I can't call this building done yet because I simply do not have the pieces for it. Oh, no, it's doing things. Gonna steal some, but it's doing things. That means that adjusted, it's just about working. I mean, again, fuse is gonna blow very soon because there's barely any fuel in there, but I guess it's working. That's down to 18 from 75. Okay. Okay, it works. Cool. Alright. Didn't expect that. Know what? Success notwithstanding, like I said, no fuel, gonna blow soon. I need to go hunting again. I need many, many more plates to give this some kind of enclosure. I need to make a rotor thing. Which means I need to switch that one production to rods. I need to... no, not rods, screws. And I need to set up some copper. None of which we can power. See, this was a fuse blown at the right time. Thank you, game. Emphasizing my point. Well, I guess I'll see when I'm trying to do copper and when I have some kind of handle on the power situation. Again, I'm just going in circles, killing hogs, for the most part. Oh, I remember one thing that we can do right now, which is explore a cave. Actually, I would like to grab some alien parts while we're here. Not those alien parts, the other kind. Actually, there will be some in the cave, aren't there? Oh, it's there. I was like, there's one around here somewhere. No, I swear. Gonna need these.
The astrobiologist Dr. D.M. Mercer was the first to recognize the presence and probable nature of these alien artifacts. These chain-melted state spheres are named in his honor. Each sphere emits a unique signal. Research it in the MAM to establish locally appropriate classification and application.
Okay, this is going to be... you can see I placed some miners and played around with road distance. This will be changing to screws. And I'll work out the precise details at some point later. And now we're gonna grab ourselves some mycelia. And after that we need to figure out wire, copper sheets, all the copper goodies. But at least we have plenty of copper around. Where's that cave? There's that cave. Shrooms. Now, there should be some skitter around. There we go. Hi. You look awful, but at least you're passive.
Samples of unknown alien species acquired. Initial data suggests these are predators, but notably they do not have a traditional mouth or eyes. There are, however, numerous cavities on their head which could fulfill a similar function. Research the remains in the MAM to establish classification and potential countermeasures.
Hi. Sloopy Sloop. Gummy bear.
The Summer Sloop was named after Marie Somerville, co-founder of Fixit and head of its R&D department. There are many theories about the origin of this shape and why this symbol mathematically resembling a Mobius strip has found its way to both human and extraterrestrial culture. Thankfully, you don't need to know any of these theories to be a pioneer. Research it in the MAM to establish locally appropriate classification and application. Fun fact: the planet you are on was found and named during a planet spotting event Marie hosted named Marie's Awesome Scientific Search of the Avant-Garde Exoplanets. The fruit of this fungus-like flora does not seem to show much potential for use. However, its mycelial network is worth further investigation. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
There's not anywhere near as many shrooms down there as I remember. I guess they made them either rarer or put them in other caves, but we do have Gummy Sloop. We do have Mesosphere. And we can research both of those. And I can at least look up how much fungus I need. 5. Okay. Alien tech.
Mercer sphere analysis completed. Established local planetary signature of massage 2, AB, B, in the local Mercer sphere signals, allowing them to be tracked by the object scanner. Mercer spheres can also transmit data between specific.
Witness our scripture, witness our windows. Have you come to defile our shrine? Sing us a song.
Arguing the existence of intelligent alien life. While Fixit has figured out the method, all of the original data is still untranslatable.
I just had a thought. I'm going to bank this one for now. I want to try something later. And we have the stingers, which lets us research those for protein.
The remains researched belong to an organism with 8 jointed legs, similar to the legs of arachnids but with non-standard distribution and function. Because its attacks focus on stabbing prey with the ends of their legs, which resemble insectoid stingers, they have been dubbed stingers. Stinger remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving pioneer safety during exploration.
Ada's so inventive. Anyway, next time on Dragon Ball Z. No, I've never actually watched Dragon Ball Z. I just meme along. Next time we are building rotors. My homework is to kill as many things as possible and try and fuel that factory at the very least. And get us some... I might have to turn it back into plates in for a bit, just for the sake of having building materials. That's annoying. I just thought of that. But yeah, homework. I need to make copper. And then I need to make rotors. And somehow we need to keep all this shit fueled. I have no idea how we're gonna have enough fuel for 5,000 smart plating that we're gonna need for phase 1, if I accumulated the zeros correctly. I don't like thinking about that number. It's slightly maddening, but here we are. I committed to this shit, and yeah, I'll regret it later. No, that's a lie. I'm already regretting it. I will keep regretting it later. Hopefully, once I have coal, I'll regret it slightly less, but that seems a long, long way away. Anyway, talk to you later.